By Friday night, it had continued on throughout the week. By the Friday night, the house was just full of dreams, kind of ceiling to floor dream sheets. And we had a young guy who was a Dish TV salesman stop by, and we're kind of like, well, come on in. And I thought he probably thought we were Moonies or something.
Sure.
He's like,
Yeah.
What's going on? And so we gave him the kind of 1 minute description of what had happened. And I said, I will listen to your whole pitch about Dish TV if you'll just sit down and write down one of your dreams.
And 3 hours later.
3 hours later, I don't know how many he posted. I know he posted at least 5. He sat there for 3 hours. He did sell us on Dish TV.
Wow.
But he wound up writing down a bunch of his dreams, and we wound up kind of staying in touch with him, and he's walked out a number of those. As they would come, they'd spend an hour, 2 hours looking at everybody's dreams, and it kind of became like an art gallery, really, because people were looking at each other's dreams and things, and some real connections, some real help came out of that part of the process too. And
An amazing catalyst.
Yeah, an amazing catalyst. Amazing catalyst.
Now, tell me a little bit about the Big Dream Gathering going forward, because that wasn't the last one.
As the first anniversary of that first Big Dream Gathering started to come around again, some friends said, hey, are we going to do that again? Would you guys do that again?
Sure.
And my wife and I talked, and she said, absolutely, as long as we don't do it in our house. And so,
I can totally, because
we lost control
kids,
for a
right?
week. Yeah, we have 2 boys, and they were great. I mean, they were running around posting as many dreams as anybody else, which was great. All of theirs were on a lower level, and some of them were drawn instead of written out. But so as we approached that anniversary of that first one, some friends started to say, would you guys do another one? Should we do another one? And so we had a group of people kind of come around us that got behind us, and a friend opened up a space that he had in the back of his building downtown, and I think we violated every fire code imaginable, and some other friends just helped us to get the word out, and I think we wound up spending about $35 on the whole thing.
Just in paper.
Just in paper, and then a whole lot of elbow grease and sweat equity from a lot of our friends. It's just been fun.
Well, Mitch, thank you for telling me about this.
Absolutely.
It all started here. You're seeing the place where 120 people came through and basically put paper up on the wall and then looked at the other dreams to see whether they could help their fellow human out. And when we come back, we're going to talk to a few of the dreamers that put their dreams out there, and those dreams came into reality. But we'll do that right after this. We're with Adam Carroll. He is actually one of the original big dreamers who put that piece of paper up on the wall, and some of the things happened to him. You might also recognize him. He was the mortgage professional on our real estate segment, but he has other things that he's done, and dreaming is one of them, right?
Absolutely.
So tell me what your dream was that you put up there on the wall.
Well, I think I put several dreams up because at the Big Dream Gathering, what happens is once you put one up, you're sort of...
You can't just put one up. It'd be like
compelled.
underachieving.
Yeah, you're compelled to put everything that you have in your brain that you want to accomplish up. The one that was most notable was I said I wanted to impact 100,000 people with a message of financial literacy. And somewhere throughout the course of the evening, someone had gone through and written on my Big Dreamer sheet that I was to impact 1 million people.
So added the zero.
Added a 0. And that seems like a fairly significant number, considering I've gone out and spoken to college campuses, and there's been about 75 to 100,000 people that have heard my message. What happened the next week was the most monumental. I got a call from Iowa Public Television, and their audience basically is right around 1 million people in the state of Iowa, and they were interested in not only having me on one of the shows, but also we started a conversation of creating a program ourselves for the money game and the program that I deliver.
And you had another big dream that you put up there.
I had another big dream. It was to get my book published and finished, and I ended up self-publishing a book called Winning the Money Game. It's a financial rule book for young people.
I've read it. It's good.
Thank you very much. You read version 1. Version 2 is out. The first one we sold about 4,000 copies of. The second printing we ordered 5,000 copies, and it looks like we'll probably sell out of those relatively quickly too.
That's great.
So
Right. So now you're sold on the Big Dream.
I'm totally sold.
And I want you to give a message to the people who are watching who are going to go to this event next week.
Boy, the message that I would give to those people would be, I don't think you can entirely fathom the amount of support that there is in this community in general, but spiritually and nationally and everything else. When you put your dream out there, you are not only putting it out there for the world to see, but you're putting it out there and saying, okay, maybe this is what I want to do. And then when you make that decision, all Provident moves with you. I mean, it's amazing how many things, unforeseen energy and services and people just come out of the woodwork to help you accomplish it. So if you've got a big dream and it's hiding in the woodwork somewhere, come to the Big Dream Gathering, get it out there, and make it happen.
I'm talking to Mandy Van Manen, who was at the first Big Dream Gathering, and actually has been at every other Big Dream Gathering as well. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah.
And we went to Mitch's house and we checked out the place where it all started.
We did.
And I want to ask you about that experience. So you came in. What were you thinking when you walked in? Were you ready for it? Did you expect to see so many people and so many dreams on the wall?
No, I wasn't, because I used to go to Mitch and Mel's house all the time, so I was very comfortable there.
So this is like your place,
right,
and suddenly invaded by dreamers.
It's true.
Was it at that first gathering that you kind of went there and started accessing where your really big dream was?
Yeah.
And what was it?
My dream was to go to Africa and work at an orphanage. I started to become very passionate about adoption and orphans, and so I thought the first step would really be to go to Africa, but I really didn't think I would go, honestly, when I wrote it down.
But you're putting it up there and you're thinking, well, let's try something crazy here. I'll go to Africa.
Yeah.
And so then what happened? So you put it up there thinking this is never going to happen, but lo and behold, what did happen?
It did happen within probably about 11 months of that first Big Dream Gathering, because that was in May, and then the following April I actually went to Africa. So there's a lot of really great stories along the way of how it all happened, and financially I wasn't going to fundraise for it. I was just going to pay for it myself, but I really felt the nudge I was supposed to fundraise, and I didn't really want to ask people for money. And there was at one point someone who I don't know and still don't know to this day, but wrote me a check for $1,000, and I felt like that was probably confirmation that I was supposed to go. So I think within 2 weeks of sending out my letters to people, I had enough money to go, and then by the time it was all said and done, I had twice as much as I needed. So yeah.
What did you think when you touched down in Africa and this whole thing had come to fruition in a year?
Still, like, it's one of those things where you can't really believe it. It's a little surreal. Yeah, it really is.
And so there is a Big Dream Gathering that will be a week after this episode airs.
Yeah.
And I want you to just say whatever to those people who are out there who are watching and are thinking about going. What do you want to say to them?
Don't limit yourself on what you put up as a dream, because really, I was amazed at how many people wrote things on my dream, because there's opportunities for people to comment or connect you with the right people, and you just don't know who might read that dream and would have some similar dreams or might know someone that can help you in that dream. So dream big.
So just don't be afraid. Put it out there. You just never know what might happen. You might be like Mandy and find yourself in Africa.